Hello everybody, Alex here, going for a walk. Let's do a walk together. Alright, so I'm out on the, whoops, I spurted some water there. Whoop, I'm wrestling with my water and getting myself wet. Alright, let's see. You have to learn to multitask with the selfie stick while you're looking at a selfie stick and trying to catch the bottle of water you just dropped. So, I did it though. So, what's going on, folks? I'm just cruising around out here, going for a walk in my neighborhood. What I'm going to do, I'm going to walk over to Saturn. I'm going to walk to Saturn, actually, yeah. I have a selfie stick. This is with my own homemade invention. It's not any kind of brand name I can suggest or mention, and I hope, hold on, I hope my tape holds there. All right. By the way, I didn't use Gorilla Tape on my smartphone. I didn't think it would ever come off, so you know I didn't use that. So how's everybody been doing? I've been working, making a living, trying to contribute to my YouTube channel at least every other day, doing something. But I'm also always improving. You know, I've got over 300 videos over the last 2.5 years. And what I do is, to a lot of those, I do search engine optimization, SEO. And I change the titles, some of them. And I go with what I have an app called Keywords Everywhere. And if you go to Keywords Everywhere, it will help you. You enter in a term, you go to like YouTube and you click on your keywords icon, and it'll show you 1.4 million people per month type in the word house. You know, so then you might make a video and just name it house, instead of everything else you wanted to say about whatever you were presenting. Here, let's take a shortcut through this park. Let me get off the street. I'm gonna go down the squirrel path. We're gonna go straight to the Saturn rocket, okay? So I'm gonna show you, what is it, Hercules and Mercury and the Gemini, the Fat Joe or Little Joe rocket. They're just right over here behind these multiplex building. This is a nice neighborhood where it's all multiplex condominiums and people that own their properties. But some of these buildings have 8 units, and it's all landscaped and controlled parks and playground equipment. And it's not really my preference. I live here because I live on one of my family properties that I pay rent for, and all the maintenance and everything. But I think in my life right now, you know, I'm watching after helping my sister with my mother, who has been, you know, convalescing and going through some problems with arthritis. She's in an assisted living home, but she's doing well. You know, mentally she's very aware, very awake, very astute. And I think, you know, and if I look at myself 10, 20 years from now, I won't live here. I'm going to have some property where I can have a barn and weld stuff and work on weird things. And I'd rather be traveling and going to conferences like the Mega UFO Con, and, you know, just to get around. I'd like to get an RV and just travel the country and do that instead of trying to buy a big house. You know, if you've got cryptocurrency and you've got some retirement in your account and some Social Security, you don't need, I don't even plan on drawing Social Security, because, you know, I think I'm going to be into my trend swing of producing things with my social media production company by that time. So I don't even think I would ever apply for Social Security, because what happens is when you apply for Social Security and Medicaid for your health, you have to declare that you do not have any assets. And therefore, if you do not have any assets anymore, then you can get paid by the government for all your health care, and you can receive your monthly, yearly stipend of money they give you. But really, in today's world economy, with social media and the internet, hold on, let me tighten this tape. If you can't make money doing something on social media or the internet, and if you just want to retire and buy some little dogs, some little lap dogs, and sit in your recliner and watch Fox all night or CNN until you get sick enough to die and go in the hospital, that's your prerogative. That's not what I'm going to do. I grew up playing golf. I grew up as a privileged kid, kind of. We belonged to a country club, and I grew up in a neighborhood where I could just go out to the club and sign my name in the roster and go play 18 holes. I wait for my dad after work to play another 9. I played pool, swam, skeet range, softball. It was an oil rigging company called Cameron Abercrombie in Cypress, Texas, and that was my 60s and 70s and early 80s. So anyway, here we're at. I hope you made it this far in the video, but here's the dun dun dun. Let me give you the broad view of let me get between these fire lane signs here. Alright, so if you look off in the distance there in the background, this is a power line field. If you look up, there's high tension wires. But that field, let me see if I can see my screen. It's hard to see it in the sun. That whole field right there, that's NASA. That's the Johnson Space Center. We're in the backyard. We're actually behind the electric fence, and I don't know if it's electric, but you can't cross that fence. And those are all the buildings. Those are the rockets. That's the Saturn Rocket Park. There's Little Joe, Hercules, Gemini. It's all right there. So hold on. Let me zoom in. Wonder if my girlfriend's home. Whenever I come out here and walk sometimes, this lady that lives over here by this home, she comes out and talks to me. So, let me see if I can blow this up. I don't think I can. Wait. Where in the heck's the horizon? There you go. What you're looking at out there, boy, that's a hard line to see in here in the sun. That's the Saturn V Rocket Park. That's the Space Center Houston Museum. Over here in the tree, that's Saturn Lane, the elementary school. If you look on Google Maps, it's the elementary school, Saturn Lane, the entrance to Johnson Space Center, the Saturn V Rocket Park, Space Center Houston, the space shuttle on top of the 747 is over there at Space Center Houston. And then you see the Saturn V, the Rocket Park, and then all of the other administration buildings, mission control, and some of the testing buildings and early things. A lot of these buildings are not in use for what they originally were purposed for, because that was early on in the program. But there you go. Whew. It's kind of hot. Let's go this way. I like this. I like to come out sometime between 10:30, 11 to 12:30, right before I go to lunch, is when, I get up usually in the mornings around 6:30, clean up the house, do whatever I got to put away from the night before, get my things going, answer my emails, start going on YouTube, maybe watch some videos, think about what I'm going to create for the day to try to upload a video every day. And by the time it gets hot, around 10:45, I'm ready to go outside, and I like to sweat and work off some sweat. I'm trying to eat an alkaline diet. You know, that just means more green vegetables, like more cucumbers, avocados, lettuce, eat some carrots, eat a lot of green beans, onions, and eat nuts. You know, eat cashews. They're better than peanuts. When you go into the convenience store, sometimes around here in Houston, you get the 2 bags for $1 of the brands of peanuts. Instead of doing that, get the $1 bag of cashews. It's a better oil for your body, and it's a better digestion process. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but that's just one hint. But drink alkaline, drink a lot of water. Anytime you drink a soda or a beer, you're adding acid. I'm not saying you have to cut it out 100% out of your diet, but be aware of that. You know, every time you drink, doesn't matter what kind of drink, Shasta, Diet Coke, RC, any of them, they're all acidic, under 4 pH. Most of them are around 2.5 to 2.7. I think RC Cola is the most acidic. It's at 2.3. But the trick is here, it's not about calories, folks. You know, the thing about what swells up people and makes America one of the most obese countries in the world, it's pH, not calories. Because acidity causes inflammation. If you're acidic, you swell. All of your tissues swell. All of your membranes between every tissue swell. Every cell, tissue in a bone, in a growth plate, in cartilage, in your joints, in your toes, your tissues in your blood vessels, your humoral blood circulating system, everything that you have is inflamed by acidity. Acidity causes inflammation. It promotes the growth of bacteria. So if you could have any infections, like if you had something gross, you know, like candida or you know, some kind of yeast infection or gross blood infection from wounds or things like that, you can avoid a lot of that by controlling your pH. So don't eat acidic things. You know, don't eat the peppers, don't drink the sodas, don't eat bread. That's another trick to life, people. Quit eating bread. Here I am. Anything white, don't drink milk and don't eat bread. Those are two of the biggest secrets in life to controlling your pH and living longer and not destroying your body. You know, I could go into anything white: sugar, cholesterol, starches, sugar, ADP, ATP, down derivative ADP, the sugar process. You know, that's how potatoes turns into sugar and turn into your fat pockets on your thighs and your love handles. Then you've got things that also inhibit the burning of calories, which are like your polyunsaturated fats, your saturated fats. If you look at all those things on the nutrition guide on your products, you're going to find out if you have the unsaturated fats. I think it is. It's the usually it's the monosodium glutamate, not the it's the what's it called? Partially hydrogenated. Anytime you see the word partially hydrogenated, that just means the thing has been added hydrogen to give it, I guess, more of a gel substance or be able to be manipulated. But it's basically simulating a fat or some kind of consistency of a texture of a product is natural. But that gets into your organs. I think it's your liver, and your liver looks at it and gets confused and thinks, what is that? I've never seen that before in nature. Maybe it's a plastic. It looks one molecule away from a plastic. Why don't I try to do with it with what I do with the plastic, which is nothing, and it sits there, and people gain weight. But it's not really about counting calories. Of course, you have to be sensible with your proportions and your meal guides, no doubt. But don't worry about those numbers, you know, just look at pH. Keep your pH high. You know, water is 7.2 to 8.9. Here in Texas, we have in Longview water that's 8.9 pH. in Longview, Texas. And that's the number. That's the number from. Sorry, I just ran into somebody's backyard as they're backing out. But high pH, you know, the highest is 14. Neutral is 7. Acidic is below 7. Everything you eat, jalapenos, sodas, fruits. You know, fruits are not a free food source. You don't just go, oh, I'm eating a piece of fruit every day, I'm great. That's not true. Because fruits can add too much fructose or too much sugar to your diet. And they also are acidic. You know, things like citric acid, you don't need to be putting in your system every day. I know people that drink citric or carbonated water, sparkling water products every day. And those contain citric acid, which is going to make you retain fluids and swell your joints and cause inflammation. So you want to avoid, hello. So you want to avoid that, you know. But anyway, so that's my tip. Longevity and trying to stay skinny, healthy, and have energy. You get off the sugar cycle. What happens is, you know how you have these vehicles now that are like the flex fuel, like you see on a lot of GM cars when they say flex on the back, which means you can put in more ethanol, which really gunks up your gas tank and makes your gas bad. If you don't burn it all in a month, I had a gas tank go bad on me in 7 months. A bunch of ethanol fuel. But anyway, what was I saying? If you want to burn efficiently, get off of the sugar diet, because your sugar cycle, anytime you eat sugar, like let's say you're craving French fries and you go get your French fries, and that's a starch which converts into a sugar after the ATP process, you know, and then it's going to go straight to your love handles. And what happens is it burns and it goes through a peak and a valley, and then you get hungry again within 2-3 hours. You want more French fries because you're on a sugar cycle. So if you flex your fuel over to a substantial protein and high pH fiber diet, you know, with lots of green vegetables. I eat some lean meat. I'll buy some steaks every once in a while, maybe once every couple of weeks, but I normally don't eat meat except for chicken and some salads, but I like to dress up salads. And I don't do that much dressing except for vinaigrette. But watch your pH. So that's the secret for today, folks. You're with Alex Aquarius, hiking in the center of the deception. Thank you for hiking with Alex. Please hit like, subscribe, come back. Join us. Wait till I post another video. Have a great day. Bye.